Hello all. I feel very glad to invite CA Bimal Jain in our webinar where he would be discussing about how to prepare for e-invoicing. And before that, I would like to say a few things that this webinar is run on our own platform, Zoho Meetings. And if you see, you can uh, see the option of question and answer and polls as well. And I can see that there are 7 to 8 questions, which would be shortly answered everything by Bimal Jain in this particular webinar. And with this, I would like to share this dice over to Bimal Jain. Welcome, sir, and the stage is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hers, for brief introduction. I hope I'm audible to all. Can you put Hers? Do we have chat box on this platform? So at the outset, let me thank all the participants joining on important topic today: e-invoicing revolution 2023. Get prepared. Before I start, I would like to see your comment in the chat box. Can you see me and am I audible to all of you? You can put your comment in the chat box and say, yes, it is going fine.
Advocate Anil Chauhan is saying that you are not audible.
I don't know. He may be individual. Hers. I'm not able to see anyone else putting any comment in the chat box. I don't know whether it is having chat features or not. We
No,
got.
Bimal ji. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just sharing my feedback to you. There is just one guy writing something, but no other comments coming from anyone. So that's the reason I'm just thinking whether chat box is there or not, because I can see only three, features: attendees numbers, question answers, and polls.
बिमल जी आप क्वेश्चन आंसर पे क्लिक करो वहां पे यू कैन सी
I clicked question answers.
अच्छा 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 उसमें यू आर नॉट एबल टू ओके
I'm not able to see anything.
बिमल जी kindly refresh once. I think then it might take it up.
Refresh means refreshing this page.
Yes Bimal ji.
I'm refreshing now. So it is coming reloading site, right?
Correct.
I'm doing that.
Yes Bimal ji, please check if you are able to see the options.
Okay. So before I start, let me ask one question to my all participants before I'm starting. Can you hear me? Am I audible and my video is going perfectly fine? Can you put your comment in the question answers box? All right. Okay, all right. I will request participants that you can put your comment in question answers tab. So that at least I can understand that what all answer I'm getting from each one of you. And that is the way we can understand that what are the question I'm asking you. Are you really in a position to answer those queries? And that is how we would be proceeding further. Hope I'm on same page with all of you. Can I see some comment in a question answers tab? It means you just comment that yes, you can see me, my video, audio, all audible to all of you. And we can start today's webinar on important topic, e-invoicing revolution 2023. Can you put some comment in the question answer tab? Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Perfect. All right. So without any further delay, let me start today's webinar. And I'm sure this topic is not a new topic. We are hearing this e-invoicing since October 2020. But still, I'm finding many queries from the taxpayer and tax consultant. They're still having doubt. I will try to resolve those queries and will post those queries to all of you. Hope you are going to answer me, and then we will see that how well we are prepared, because now the threshold you'd be knowing started with 500 crore rupees. Aggregate turnover 500 crore rupees we started in October 2020. Reduced to 100 crore, 50 crore, 20 crore, 10 crore. Now it is reduced to 5 crore. Effectively from 1st of August 2023. And they are saying any registered person whose aggregate turnover, please bear in your mind. And my question would be coming those terms because we are having a lot of doubt in the market. We will try to resolve those queries. So any registered person whose aggregate turnover in any preceding financial year, starting from 17-18, exceeds 5 crore rupees, preceding financial year, in any preceding financial year. So two things we need to resolve here. Exceeding 5 crore, then this e-invoicing is compulsory, mandatory from 1st August 2023. What is the meaning of aggregate turnover? As we all know, aggregate turnover includes all your taxable supplies, exempt supplies, which can be nil rated or exempted by way of exemption notification, and including even non-taxable supplies on which GST not leviable, even including your export turnover. So it's a sum total of taxable supplies, exempted supplies, and export. Export are being considered as a zero rated. Supply to SEZ unit or developer are also zero rated. Sum total of the amount is called aggregate turnover. In any preceding financial year starting from 17-18. Got two questions for all of you. The first question. Let's say you got 7 crore rupees, which is the highest ever aggregate turnover in a financial year 18-19. Starting from 17-18 till 22-23, we are into the financial year 23-24. It exceeds 7 crore rupees in financial year, let's say 18-19. Need your answer, either yes or no. Except one financial year, which is 18-19, aggregate turnover was around 7 crore rupees. Will this provision, compulsorily generation of e-invoicing, applicable to this registered person from 1st August 2023? Say yes and no in a chat box. Yes and no in a chat box. Applicable or not applicable? Perfect. So a lot of you has given the right answer. Will appreciate it. Let me change this example. aggregate turnover of this registered person was always less than 5 crore. Was always less than 5 crore rupees. Only in a period April 23, June 23, this quarter, his aggregate turnover crosses 5 crore rupees, say 6 crore rupees. So this first quarter of 23-24, it is 6 crore, first time ever crossing 5 crore. Otherwise, in all the preceding financial year, his aggregate turnover was less than 5 crore. Tell me whether compulsory generation of e-invoicing from 1st August 2023 is applicable or not. Say yes and no. I just want answer in a chat box. Say yes and no in a chat box. Oh. So I don't know. I'm not getting much of the answer in a chat box. Please try to appreciate. Please try to appreciate. I can't see much of the answer in a chat box, so I'm assuming that you're having some doubt on this question. I'm repeating again that Bimal Jain being registered person, his aggregate turnover was less than 5 crore, starting from 17-18 till 22-23. It was less than 5 crore. Only in 23-24, which is current financial year, April 23 to June 23, it is 6 crore rupees. Now, I just want to have answer from you whether this compulsory generation of e-invoicing aggregate turnover exceeds 5 crore rupees with effect from 1st August 2023 is applicable or not. That is the question I posted to all of you. And it is not in any of the preceding financial year. It is only in current financial year. So say yes and no in a chat box. Yes and no in a chat box. So answers are coming, but still I'm finding some of you are still giving wrong answer. And let's conclude. If it is exceeding in current financial year, then it is not applicable. As per provision, this should be in any of the preceding financial year. So you have to look at 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, 20-21, 21-22, 22-23. Not the current financial year. So answer would be straightforward no. It is going to be applicable in next financial year. That is the answer. Am I clear to all? Am I clear to all? Now, now some of you. Now there is one. Some of you are writing something, so I've explained this part carefully to all of you and communicated to all of you. All right. So you say, okay, all right. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So this was the first part of it. It is applicable in which cases? I'm being registered person. I may have B2B supply. I may have B2C supply. I may have taxable supplies. I may have exempted supplies. But let's assume it is applicable to me from 1st August 2023. Now I'm asking to all of you, and you should keep to your mind, this compulsorily e-invoicing provision applicable in the case of B2B taxable supplies, registered supplier to registered recipient. Taxable supplies, I use the term taxable supplies. It is even applicable to B2G. So when you're raising invoice to government department for taxable supplies, it is applicable. It is applicable for corresponding debit note and credit note. Even for the zero rated supplied to SEZ unit or developer or export of goods or services, this provision is applicable, which is e-invoicing provision. So I have communicated and again repeating, B2B taxable supplies, B2G taxable supplies, debit note, credit note pertaining to taxable supplies, and export zero rated to SEZ unit or export of goods or services. Am I clear to all? Say yes in a chat box. Say yes in a chat box. Okay. So PWD department would be B2G. All right. Yes. Perfect. All right. All right. So one guy, Mr. Rajesh Kumar, is saying we are unable to see the video. Whether my video is you can view
Yeah.
my video. Can you see my video?
Yes, Bimalji, we are able to see. Maybe the gentleman's net is maybe on and off.
Having some issue. All right. So this was the second component. Now third component. When this e-invoicing provision is not applicable, and I will create two different category. I'll create first category, the entity wise e-invoicing provision not applicable, first category. And second category pertaining to certain documentation, this e-invoicing provision is not applicable. The first one. It is not applicable when you look at invoice raised by government department to others. So G2B or local authority. Third, whenever invoice raised by SEZ unit, no invoicing provision. But for developer, it is applicable. In the case of insurance company, banking, financial institution, and NBFC, non-banking finance companies, this e-invoicing provision will not be applicable irrespective of whatever their threshold aggregate turnover is. It is not applicable for GTA, Goods Transport Agency. It is not applicable for passenger transportation services, and it is not applicable for multiplexes, cinema admission, not applicable. What I said, repeating again, not applicable for government department, local authority, SEZ unit, excluding developer, insurance, banking, financial institution, NBFC, GTA, Goods Transport Agency, passenger transportation services, and multiplexes cinema admission. Here is one question which I want to ask all of you. Let's say I'm a banking company, and as per the provision, this e-invoicing provision is not applicable to me. So I may have some of my supplies exempted and I may have some of the supplies where taxable supply GST leviable, GST leviable. So bifurcation is there. So whether this exclusion which is being prescribed, it is for the entity as a whole or only for their exempted supply? Can you tell me? It is for entity as a whole or not? That is what yes and no. Entity as a whole, then yes. If it is not entity as a whole, then you can say no. So entity as a whole, Nidhi Jain, Suryam, they are saying entity as a whole. So this is for the entity per se as a whole exemption. I hope I'm clear to all of you. Perfect. So all right. Coming to the second category now. We have seen in the GST, and let's say I'm a registered person, I'm into taxable supplies, and it is B2B transaction. I take an advance money from you for supply of goods. Advance money from you, you are my buyer, for supply of goods. Supply of goods. Please bear in your mind. Whenever we take advance money in GST, and it is for supply of goods, not related to e-invoicing, but let me check. Whether GST applicable on advance money received for supply of goods, please tell me yes and no in a chat box. Yes and no in a chat box. Applicable or not applicable? So I'm just waiting for your answer. For supply of goods, it is not applicable from 15th of November 2017. Not applicable. Only for supply of services. Only for supply of services. But whenever I'm getting advance money for supply of services, taxable supply of services, I'm issuing receipt voucher. So I'm just asking this question to you. It is going to be B2B supply. It is taxable supply of services. I'm issuing receipt voucher to you, whether e-invoicing provision applicable for the receipt voucher documentation. Please tell me whether applicable. Say yes and no in a chat box. Yes and no in a chat box. Applicable. So I'm still looking at your answer in a chat box. A lot of you are saying, okay, perfect. So it is not applicable. Believe me, not applicable. It is for tax invoice, it is applicable. B2B, taxable supply, tax invoice, debit note, credit note. There's certain documentation on which e-invoicing provision not applicable. So what are those documents? Receipt voucher. Refund voucher. Whenever I'm returning the advance money for supply of services, no e-invoicing provision. Payment voucher, when RCM liability as a recipient, or self-invoice generated by recipient under section 31, subsection 3, clause F of CGST Act. These documentation. When you're supplying exempted goods or services, you're raising bill of supply. You're not raising tax invoice. This is not applicable. It is for B2B taxable supplies. ISD invoice, please tell me, input service distributor invoice, whether this e-invoicing provision applicable. Please tell me. Please tell me. Applicable. It's not applicable. So what all I have excluded, just note down once again. Receipt voucher, refund voucher, payment voucher, self-invoice, bill of supply for exempted supply of goods or services, and ISD invoice, input service distributor. Now let me take one exam. When I'm sending goods on delivery challan, subject to approval by my buyer. So today I'm dispatching goods on delivery challan. No tax invoice is being raised. Do we required to follow e-invoicing provision? Say yes and no in a chat box. Do we required to follow? Say yes and no for delivery challan? It's not required. It's not required. Perfect. Thank you very much. You all are giving right answer. Not required. So now you got this category also clear that these are the documentation. E-invoicing provision is not applicable. Now we are going to discuss the process flow. What is this e-invoicing we all are hearing? What we need to do? And you have to listen very carefully. If you are a registered person and your aggregate turnover crosses 5 crore rupees in any preceding financial year starting from 17-18, then this e-invoicing provision is compulsorily applicable to you with effect from 1st August 2023. Now, what you would be doing? You may have your own accounting, billing, or ERP. You may have your own accounting, billing software or ERP. You will continue to raise your tax invoice from your own accounting, billing, and ERP. You will continue to do that. But point number one, as per e-invoicing provision, it is furnishing of specified particulars. As per e-schema. The e-schema prescribed INV01. So whenever you are raising invoice, there has to be specified particulars as prescribed as per e-schema, which is called INB01. You will continue to generate from your own accounting, billing, and ERP. What you need to do, this accounting, billing, and ERP must be capable of converting that invoice into JSON file. This is the need and necessity. Converting into JSON file. So you may be having Excel-based, PDF-based, or any other language your invoice. First, it should be in having specified particulars as per e-schema INV01, and that should be converted into JSON file. Now, once this tax invoice converted into JSON file, you will transmit from your own accounting, billing, and ERP software to a government dedicated invoice registration portal. So this JSON file of your tax invoice generated, it is transmitted to invoice registration portal. Now, what this invoice registration portal will do, it will do deduplication check. So this IRP going to do deduplication check. It will check the data that is it unique data, there is no duplication. It will validate the data as per specified particulars required. INB01, validate the data. And once it is found in order, IRP going to assign unique invoice registration number or invoice reference number. Interchangeably, we are using this term. IRP, unique IRN to this particular tax invoice with QR code and digitally signed by IRP only. Digitally signed by IRP only. And once this invoice with unique IRN number embedded with QR code, digitally signed, it will be transmitted back to the supplier in a JSON mode. It would be returned to the supplier who has uploaded the details to the supplier. Then supplier, after receiving this invoice, the unique IRN number, with unique IRN number, QR code and digitally signed, again, he can convert that JSON tax invoice with unique IRN node, unique IRN number, either into PDF or other mode, and send it back to the recipient. That is what the process all about. Other activity which is being done by invoice registration portal is IRP going to push the data which is being furnished for generation of IRN number to GSTN common portal. GSTN common portal. And with this data, GSTR1 of supplier gets auto-filled up. Auto-filled up within T plus 2 days. T plus 2 days. So whatever invoice which is having unique IRN number, IRP going to push the data to GSTN common portal for auto-filling up, auto-population of GSTR1. Simultaneously, IRP also going to push and transmit the data to eBay bill portal. So there are 3 portals as on date, right? One is IRP, another one is GSTN common portal where we are filing GST return, and third, eBay bill portal. So that is how the data going to be pushed to these 2 portals. Now here are 2-3 questions in my mind. Let me clarify one by one. The first question in my mind. Now I'm uploading my JSON file, tax invoice JSON file on IRP. Can I also, I'm getting unique IRN number also. So let me ask this way. I'm changing my question to all of you. I'm getting E-Invoicing unique IRN number with QR code and digitally signed. Do we still require to generate eBay bill? Say yes and no in a chat box. Do we still require to generate eBay bill? Please tell me. eBay bill. Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. But can I, next question to all of you. Can I simultaneously generate my eBay bill and get unique IRN number? Is it possible simultaneously through IRP, invoice registration portal? Is it possible? Is it possible? Say yes and no in a chat box. Possible, provided I'm filling up part A and part B both together of eBay bill. Then only possible. If I'm not filling up part B, of eBay bill, then IRP going to push the data pertaining to part A, and then you need to go back to eBay bill portal, and then you need to generate the eBay bill. Hope I'm clear. Say yes, this part is clear. Say yes in the chat box that this part is clear. All right. Perfect. So all of you are saying yes. Okay. Now. I'm taking just 2 minutes more and to explain once again what I discussed. And You have to say yes, yes, yes. So I'm breaking down my comments for having clarity. I will say one statement, you need to say yes, so that we are both on same page, right? And I will look at your comment in a chat box, which you are putting either as a yes or no, right? Process flow for generation of unique IRN, invoice registration number or invoice reference number, H. You as a registered person raise tax invoice having specified particulars as per e-schema INB01 from your own accounting, billing and ERP. Am I clear? You will generate from your own accounting, billing and ERP. Say yes. Say at least go with my suggestion, so that we would be on same page. Say yes. All right. Your second statement, your accounting, billing and ERP must have facility of converting such tax invoice into JSON file. Second comment, converting into JSON file. Please say yes in a chat box. Yes in a chat box. All right. This JSON file is going to be transmitted to IRP, Invoice Registration Portal. Third statement. Please tell me. Third statement. Fourth, IRP going to undertake deduplication check, validation of data. Fourth statement. Say yes in a chat box. What IRP going to do? Fifth, after doing this deduplication check and validation, IRP going to assign unique invoice reference number or invoice registration number with QR code and digitally signed by IRP. Say yes in a chat box. Digitally signed by IRP. Say yes. Perfect. Now here one question. Invoice is digitally signed by IRP. Do we then require that such invoice need to be signed by authorized signatory of that registered person? Do we require? Yes and no. Please tell me. Yes and no. Do we require? Say yes and no. Then need not required. Definitely not required. Perfect. Need not required. So you are given this answer also. Now IRP going to push the data to two different portal. Next statement, to GSTN portal for auto population and auto filling up of your GSTR1, and thereby it is getting auto filled for GSTR 2A and 2B of the recipient. Next statement. Am I clear? Please say. And it is T plus 2 days. Within T plus 2 days. Yes. Am I right? Yes. Similarly, IRP going to transmit the data to eBay bill portal. If you have filled up part A of eBay bill details, it is getting auto filled up eBay bill portal. If you have filled up part B also, part A and part B, then quite obvious simultaneously your e-invoice and eBay bill can be generated. Am I clear? Say yes. Clear to all? Am I clear to all? All right. Perfect. Thank you very much. Now, some of the question. This e-invoicing provision is applicable for goods or services, or it is applicable for both? So write down in a chat box. It is for goods or services or both. Please write down in a chat box. Both. Perfect. So some participants asked me one question in a chat box. It is applicable for export, right? We have all understood it. There's export of goods also, export of services also. I'm just asking you for the sake of, conformity, because that participants still having doubt whether this e-invoicing provision applicable for export of services. Please tell me, is it applicable? Say yes and no. Say yes and no. Is it applicable? It is applicable. Perfect. Perfect. It is applicable. So answer is coming for both. So export of goods and services. Perfectly all right. Okay. Okay, all right. Now, having said that, I want to discuss some other component for e-invoicing provision. Let's say when you have transmitted your tax invoice converted into JSON file on IRP, you found that you made some mistake. Some mistake you did it. Question is, can we do amendment pertaining to our mistake on IRP portal? Is it doable? Can I do amendment on IRP portal? Is it possible? Can I do that? Say yes and no in a chat box. Amendment. It's possible or not possible? It is possible or not possible? Answer to all of you. Answer to all of you. IRP is only a pass-through portal. Pass-through portal. It is not storing any data, and no amendment is possible on IRP portal. Am I clear to all? Say yes, at least you understood it. Say yes in a chat box that you got it. You got it? Okay. Next question. When I can't do amendment, then if at all amendment is required, then where I'm going to do such amendment? Sometimes we do a mistake and we have to do amendment, and IRN is also generated, and later on we realize there was some mistake and we need to do amendment. Then such amendment need to be done in your GSTR1 of the current tax period or subsequent tax period on GSTN portal. On GSTN portal. Am I clear? Say yes in a chat box. Am I clear? Please say, am I clear? Am I clear? Okay, say yes in a chat box. Yes, possible. Okay. Now, you want to cancel your e-invoicing for some either or region. You have generated unique IRN number, but now you want to cancel it. Is it possible? Can you cancel it? Please say yes and no. First you say, is it possible or not possible? Possible or not possible? There are some participants very good. They're applying their mind and writing a lot of, stuff. Possible. But cancellation comes with time period within 24 hours. Within 24 hours. It is not open-ended. It is not open-ended. Within 24 hours, subject to that your such invoice should not be checked during transit by the proper officer. If it is being checked during transit by the proper officer, then cancellation is not permissible on IRP, even though it is within 24 hours. Beyond 24 hours, so you can't cancel. I hope I'm clear. Say yes, you got it. Am I clear to all? Am I clear to all? Okay. Say at least yes in a chat box so that I would be having that clarity. Okay, perfect. All right. All right. So you have said that. My next question If we want to do partial cancellation, not a full cancellation, partial cancellation, is it doable? Say yes and no. Is it doable? Say yes and no. Partial cancellation. It is not. It is not. There's no concept of partial cancellation. It is 100% cancellation. All right. So a lot of you are giving a very good answer. I'm appreciating that your answers are perfect and correct. Thank you very much for that. Okay. All right. Done it. Now, another question, and a very interesting one. I said this limit applicable only when aggregate turnover exceeds 5 crore in any preceding financial year starting from 17-18. But anyone wanted to take it optionally for this generation of e-invoicing. Is it permissible? Please tell me whether this IRP is allowing optional generation of e-invoice. Is it possible? Say yes and no in a chat box. Is it allowing that? Voluntary permitted or not permitted? Voluntary permitted or not permitted? Voluntary permitted or not permitted? Okay, so a lot of you are saying permitted, not permitted. See, but IRP is not allowing. You may be permitted, none is stopping you. But IRP is not allowing the same. Hope now you are on same page with me. Am I clear? It is permitted. I'm not saying not permitted, but IRP is allowing. That's what. Okay. Am I clear? Say yes in a chat box. Am I clear to all? Okay. So legally permitted, but IRP has restriction. See, only one thing I can tell you, they have created a threshold on IRP because they are allowing enablement on the phase manner, because they have got their own portal. When I'm talking about portal, let me clarify another point also. Initially, they started with one government dedicated invoice registration portal. Then 3 more portal got notified. And for your information, now there are 4 private players. 4 private players are also being allowed and nominated as a government approved invoice registration portal to cater the volume of business. So as on date, you got 1 plus 3 from government side and 4 private players are being allowed to act as an invoice registration portal. Hope I'm clear. Am I clear this aspect? All right. Am I clear? Please say yes or no in the chat box. Say yes at least so that I get a clarity that you're getting my point. Okay. All right. Now, next question. Let's say I'm a registered person, and listen very carefully. Here I need your answer, and I need a good answer from each one of you. I'm a registered person. Let's say GTA. I'm a goods transport agency. GTA is excluded from compulsorily following e-invoicing provision. Leave it GTA. Let's assume I'm a supplier, registered supplier, but my outward supply is subject to RCM, reverse charge method, in my buyer's hand, in my recipient hands. Supplier is registered. Supplier outward supply is subject to RCM in your hands. Let's say you are the person, recipient, buyer. You have to discharge GST liability. Here, threshold of Bimal Jain being supplier is more than 5 crore. Threshold of supplier is more than 5 crore. but his outward is subject to RCM. So please tell me in a chat box, e-invoicing provision, if applicable, which is applicable because threshold is more than 5 crore. It is applicable for supplier or the recipient. Please tell me. You can write down in a chat box S or recipient. Though as a recipient, you will pay RCM liability. Please tell me. It is applicable for supplier or recipient. Please. So Umesh Chandra is writing, Umesh Chandra Agri is writing, none. It is applicable for supplier. For supplier, and some of you are writing recipient. Please, it is applicable for supplier to compulsorily move his invoice. Yes, please. All right. Say yes. Say yes in a chat box that this part is clear. Say yes in a chat box that this part is clear. Okay. I may be taking your, Nidhi Jain. Nidhi is confused. What Nidhi is saying, said in case it is subject to RCM, the supplier is not going to raise the tax invoice. Who said that? I'm a registered supplier. I will raise tax invoice. I will file my GSTR1. I will only take tax to be paid by the recipient. Are you recalling your GSTR1? Nidhi, I said to you, with you, I have explained to all of you that I am registered supplier, my outward supply is subject to RCM, then I need to raise tax invoice. Only I need to tick subject to RCM, recipient to pay the liability. That is the reason if e-invoicing provision applicable, then it is applicable only on supplier, not on recipient. Hope I'm clear now. Hope I'm clear now. Hope I'm clear now. Okay, perfect. All right. Now, this part is over. Another thing which is important to note. We have seen this specific provision, time to raise tax invoice as per section 31. Time to raise tax invoice as per section 31. If I'm supplying goods, then tax invoice need to be raised on or before removal of goods. On or before removal of goods. Am I right? Tax invoice. And if my aggregate turnover more than 5 crore, then I need to generate E-invoice. That is the unique invoice reference number. I'm asking simply to all of you. Instead of E-invoice, can I continue to raise simple tax invoice? Otherwise, I'm supposed to generate E-invoice, but I'm not generating E-invoice. I'm only raising tax invoice. Is it correct or not? Say yes and no. Correct or not? Say yes and no in a chat box. Correct or not? Say yes and no. Okay, so there are a lot many answers in a chat box. Some of you are writing but need to report within a week. Okay. Let me tell you. Tax invoice without IRN, unique invoice reference number, is called invalid. That is not tax invoice. Go back to rule 48. Read sub-rule 4 of CGST rule. That is not termed as tax invoice. it is not eligible document also for recipient to avail credit. So on that tax invoice, your buyer, your recipient will not get credit unless it is e-invoice. Am I clear? Please, I may be doing this activity, but that is not the right one. It's not the correct one. I need to compulsorily generate e-invoice. Am I clear? Say yes in a chat box. Am I clear? Say in a chat box, am I clear to all? Say yes in a chat box that this part is clear. All right. All right. All right. Perfect. You all got it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, there may be some situation. There may be some situation that you wanted to generate e-invoice, but internet was down. Your internet was not working. Or for some either or reason, you could not generate the e-invoice. You raise the tax invoice today. Let's assume today you raise the tax invoice on 27 June and you could not generate e-invoice because internet was down or some region you could not do that. Your IRP was down for either or region, you could not generate your e-invoice. Can I upload this JSON file of my tax invoice in coming 2-3 days, 5-6 days? Say yes and no. First you tell me, is it possible? Can I upload invoice dated 27 June on, let's say, 1st July? Let's say on 3rd July. Is it possible? Can I do that? Can I do that? Can I do that? Okay. Okay. See, I can tell you now answer. I can tell you the answer now. As per GST law, we need to generate invoice before or at the time, whichever is earlier, removal of goods. As per the provision, I should have done it today only. But IRP is not having that validation check. It is open-ended. Listen very carefully. IRP is not having that validation check. It's opened. Recently, they issued a press release, 12th of April 2023, followed by 13th April 2023. They said they are going to put time limit of 7 days. Time limit of 7 days. That maximum window would be available for 7 days. And that is going to be applicable from 1st May 2023 for a registered person whose aggregate turnover is either 100 crore or more than 100 crore. That is what the advisory was issued. Say yes, at least you understood it, this part. They say they are going to put time limit of 7 days. Say yes, that at least you understood it. For your information, they have kept this provision in abeyance today. Though this advisory was there for time limit of 7 days, but this is kept in abeyance. Am I clear? Am I clear? Say yes in a chat box. Am I clear? But now let me ask you. IRP not having this, restriction. Does it mean that it is as per law? Technically, IRP is not having this validation check. Is it as per the law? Say yes and no in a chat box. Is it as per law? Please say in a chat box, as per law. It is not as per law. Believe me, not as per law. And tomorrow it may be legally disputed. Let me clarify. Tomorrow it may be legally disputed because you have to follow section 31 for time limit to raise invoice. And you can't compromise. Then you could be asking, then why, sir, this IRP has given this open window to all of us? because they wanted us to have handholding. Being a new features, they provided this facility, but it is not as per the law. Not as per the law. But of course, you can argue in your defense whenever anything litigation comes against you. You can always argue that having this provision, IRP, which is government dedicated portal, did not create that time limit validation check, meaning thereby handholding was given for number of region, internet down, IRP down, for some either or region. And that is the way I raise my tax invoice, but later on, I have uploaded the same to generate unique IRN number. Hope I've given both the things. It is not as per law, but not having validation check on IRP can be a ground to legally defend in case any litigation comes up. Am I clear? Say yes in a chat box. Am I clear? See, that invoice is invalid, I said, without having unique IRN number. But later on, you can always generate unique IRN number. Then it becomes your valid invoice. That is the only point. I hope now my point is clear when I'm saying to Nitin and others. Am I right? All right. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, for your information, from 1st April 2024, please wake up call. I'm saying evolution of e-invoicing. Are we ready? Today we are talking about threshold of 5 crore, but from 1st April 2024, it is being said that this limit going to be reduced to 1.5 crore. So aggregate turnover exceeding 1.5 crore, it is going to be applicable for such registered person also. That is the news coming out today. So hope this part is again clear. So it is important for us to note that this e-invoicing is now going to be part and parcel of our GST system. Now, there are 3 things. Let me clarify and then I will sum up my presentation today. E-invoicing provision, if I look at, it is deterrent against the tax avoiders. E-invoicing provision, as per me, and I'm sure you will agree with me, is good for genuine and honest taxpayer. Say, do you agree with me? Because e-invoicing provision, if made applicable at mass for everyone concerned with a threshold, it is good for all of us together. Am I clear? Hope you will all agree with me. It is being used by only unscrupulous person, and that is what we have seen in the past. You know, this IRN gets generated within sub 200 millisecond time it takes on IRP. For generating unique IRN number, it is sub 200 millisecond on IRP. It's a real-time basis. Data pushed to GSTN portal for GSTR1 for supplier, 2A, 2B for the recipient, and even to the eBay bill portal. Government has given the facility. What facility available for this generation of e-invoice? It can be either through direct integration, API, your software, your ERP having integration with API, and then the data directly is transmitted to IRP. Or you may get your accounting and billing software integrated through GSP and ASP. Even bulk offline utility is available on IRP. Bulk offline utility is available on IRP portal. IRP has also enabled the app. You can cross-check and verify scanning the QR code whether this particular invoice is really a valid tax invoice having unique IRN number. So that app is also made available. You can download the app, and through that app you can just run the QR code and check whether this tax invoice is really a valid tax invoice or not. So government is also making these features available. Now, what is your preparation required? Your preparation. You may be small registered person, maybe having small accounting billing software, not having ERP. What you need to do, and I'm telling you, like we are doing this program on Zoho's platform. Zoho provide these features to you along with your accounting billing. Apart from accounting billing, your transmission, your data get converted into JSON file, transmitted to IRP, and these features are available. That is what you have to now identify and move towards revolution of generation of e-invoicing. Maybe I will ask Zoho's team to give you their tutorials how this generation of e-invoicing is possible through their platform. Alongside accounting, billing, and having other features available, how this e-invoicing revolution is made possible through their application, and that will ease your business with the minimum cost. And being chartered accountant, I'm telling you today, Zoho has signed the MOU, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, and they are giving a free application please, to all the chartered accountant. Free application. You have to only subscribe through your membership number, and it is no charges, free of cost. You can use this application, Zoho Books application, for your all accounting related transformation. You want to move from a manual to automatic automation, and way forward this automation is the mantra, and Zoho is made it possible to all the practicing chartered accountant. You have to just put in your membership number and get this application downloaded, and that too free of cost. MOU is being signed with the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. That is going to give you the extra advantage and benefit. Coming to the last component now, I have discussed almost all the points which I thought I'm supposed to tell you. Perfect. From my side, I have covered everything. Last is the advantage. Last is the advantage of this e-invoicing. Advantage, no paper. When I'm saying no paper, let me ask one question. Once you have a unique IRN number, e-invoice, do you really require to carry physical copy of your invoice? Do you require? While movement of goods, transportation of goods, do you require? Please tell me yes and no in a chat box. Please tell me yes and no. Required? Not required. Not required. Need not require. The QR code is sufficient, and they can through app verify whether this particular invoice is a valid invoice or not. Next part, which is important. When I'm saying this component to all of you, I need some more pointers so that you get a more clarity. Now, we all are looking that our GST compliance should get easy, starting from generation invoice through a particular application or software or ERP for which I given you free of cost. You can always use Zoho, which will give you the advantage. You can see your business get smoothened. Ease will come and we will move from manual to automatic, and that is what the way forward. And with this application, once invoice get facilitated, then your GSTR1. Now here one question I have come to know, and let me get clarity from each one of you. Yes, IRP is pushing the data on GSTN portal. Your GSTR1 gets auto-populated. But can you rely such data, whatever get transmitted, auto-populated, or you need to do checking and verification? Please tell me. Do you need to do checking and verification? Please tell me. Still, as on date, you can't rely 100%. I can tell you. Still, we have come across in specific cases the data gets auto-populated. We need to check and verify. Second, since the invoice which you are having in your hands as a buyer and recipient, and if your supplier happen to be, he has to generate compulsorily e-invoice and he's not generating, how you are going to check and verify that who all are your supplier who are supposed to move, who are supposed to adopt compulsorily generation of e-invoice? You can go to IRP, put their GSTN number, your supplier GSTN number, and check their status, because IRP is having all data pertaining to those suppliers, and IRP can let you know that this supplier is supposed to and compulsorily supposed to generate e-invoice. So being a recipient and buyer, it is in your interest to ensure to have e-invoice in your hands to get the credit. Otherwise, your credit would be denied, because without having IRN number, that will not be valid invoice. So this part you need to check, right? Coming to the next component, even being recipient, data gets auto-populated on real-time basis in your 2A, 2B. So this credit matching and mismatching become easy whenever we see this e-invoicing revolution. So e-invoicing, as I said, from 1st April 23, 24, 1st April 24, threshold going to be 1.5 crore. So we have to compulsorily adopt the feature and compulsorily need to implement the feature with the application which is best available to you to your advantage. That is all from my side on today's presentation. E-invoicing revolution, are we ready? And I've tried to take all the pointers which is important from e-invoicing provision, but still I will answer your query. We will go back to your question answers chat box, pick up your queries. You can ask as many questions as you want. From my side, this 1 hour, 10 minutes capsule will give you all the flavors. What is this e-invoicing? Request Hers to take it forward. Hers, if you can come back and brief to the audience in terms of Zoho book and application, how it is easy for my all the viewers, and this MOU which is signed with Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, which is free to all the practicing chartered accountant. If you can put some word to them, and then we can pick up question answers.
Thank you so much, Bimal ji. First of all, I would like to say that it was a very engaging webinar that we have had. As a former CA student, I was like, okay, I'm getting to learn things again, and something, it felt completely new to me. So very, very thank you for that, and I'm sure everyone else felt the same. And as Bimalji said, that yes, Zoho Books is completely ready with it. And for this, I will request Ramesh and Chitra to take it up, like, and just guide you on in a very quick span of time that how you can do the same thing that Bimalji shared with so enthusiasm with Zoho Books. So Ramesh, the dice is yours now. Thank you very much.
Harsh, can you confirm if my screen is visible?
Yes, Ramesh, it is visible. Ramesh, it's visible, yeah.
Yeah, visible, right? Yeah. So even the swaps are also clear, right? The swapping of screen.
Correct, correct, it's clear.
Okay. So a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank Bimal Ji for his thunderous presentation as always. And it is a blessing to present after Bimal because most of the things he handles and he makes my job very much easier. So this is me, Ramesh, and I have Chitra with me who is going to be helping you with a Q&A session. So without any further delay, let's get started. We know that e-invoice or an electronic invoice is a digital document that is exchanged between a supplier and buyer, which is validated by the government tax portal. So let's see how we are going to enable this e-invoicing option in Zoho Books. That will be the first part, and how to create e-invoices and how to cancel e-invoices in case if it is required. And also we'll be discussing about the different default filters that are available in Zoho Books and how are we going to bulk push e-invoices to the IRP portal. We also have different icons available and what insights the different colors provide for an e-invoice, and we'll be closing with the automation cases that we have handled with regards to e-invoicing. So the first part that we are going to see is how are we going to enable the e-invoicing option in Zoho Books. For that, you will have to head towards the settings option where you will have preferences and you have e-invoicing as a module right here. So you can enable the e-invoicing option here, and you can also configure your settings right from here. So you have different GSTNs getting listed. You can configure each and every GSTN with regards to your IRP. So all you need to do is just click on this reconfigure. So you'll have to enter your GSTN number, the username and password. In case if you have already using your e-waybill credentials, even that could be used here because either way it works. And you click on save and validate, your registration or your integration with IRP gets done. The moment you're done with this particular configuration, you will be able to create e-invoices from Zoho Books, as simple as that. So once you're done, you will be able to see that when you go to your invoices, see the invoices or the e-invoices could be created right from here. So in the interest of time, I would like to just clone this particular invoice. You can see that I have entered the customer name, the place of supply, and the invoice number gets auto generated. That is how I have configured in my Zoho Books. And you enter the item details and whatever the respective things are, and you can save it as draft so that the invoice gets created. So this is how you create a invoice. You can see that a tax invoice has got created, whereas you don't have an IRN or a QR code being generated because this is in draft status right now. As soon as we have created this particular invoice, you can see that there is a notification on the top that it is yet to be pushed, which means we are yet to push this to the IRP portal. So once you have configured, you can see that there is an option called as push to IRP. This gets enabled for you, and clicking on this, you will be giving the option whether you want to push only the invoice details or push both the invoices as well as e-waybill details. So you just choose the preferred option, and you can see that the transaction has been pushed to the IRP and an IRN has been successfully generated. So now on top, you can see that the status of this particular tax invoice is pushed and it is in green color. Earlier, it was in orange color. So you can see that this is the tax invoice that has got created with the IRN as well as the QR code. And in case, if at all you wish to cancel an e-invoice, you always have the option. So within 24 hours, you will be in a position to cancel it directly from Zoho Books itself. All you need to do is just click on cancel e-invoice, give the reason and the remarks for the cancellation, and click on cancel e-invoice. In case if it exceeds 24 hours, you always have the provision to go to your IRP in order to cancel the e-invoice, and you can mark it as cancelled right here in Zoho Books. So further moving ahead, you always have provisions to filter your e-invoices. That is, whatever has been pushed for e-invoices, you will be getting this option. You always have the option yet to be pushed for e-invoicing, so that whatever has been created as draft, only those invoices will get listed. So let's say you have filtered the yet to be pushed option. You can just mark whatever the invoice that you would like to push as a bulk pushing option. You can always choose this, and with a more option, you can push to IRP, so that whatever has been selected, you'll be able to push it in a bulk method. So the same process continues, and you have initiated the push if you are doing it. So we always have the provisions to bulk push the e-invoicing into IRP also. Apart from this, you can also filter out the transactions based on the color. So you always have the icons directly reflecting here. You can see that there's a green color icon, so which shows that the invoice has been pushed to the IRP because it's a success notification, which is a green color. And you can see that the orange color mark, it is yet to be pushed to the IRP. Whatever is yet to be pushed, invoices yet to be pushed to the IRP will have the orange color, and red color intimates that it has been failed because of various reasons. So maybe you have missed out some details, or few details are wrong, so it is failed to push. So based on the color and the icon, you will be able to derive the insight as to it has been successfully pushed, or yet to be pushed, or push has been initiated, or failed to push invoice to the IRP. So these are the different insights that you get out of it. So further moving ahead, you always have the user restrictions also involved with regards to e-way bills or e-invoicing. For that, all your admins, for example, let's say you go to settings and users and roles, all your admins will have the default permission to create or cancel the e-invoices. But apart from that, if you wish to configure a new role and you wish to restrict a particular user from pushing or accessing the e-invoice module, while creating or customizing the role in Zoho Books, you always have the option. You can see right here that there is options to generate and cancel e-way bills. Likewise, you always have provisions to check the option whether you allow this particular person to push and cancel the transaction with regards to e-invoicing. So enabling this will give the permission, disabling this will restrict the permission for the concerned user, so that he or she will not be in a position to push or cancel any transactions with regards to e-invoicing. And coming to the automation part, we have uh, slightly automated this particular process of creating the invoice itself in Zoho Books. So in that case, whenever an estimate is being accepted, you always have the setting to automatically create, because once an estimate is accepted by a particular customer, which means that he has accepted the deal and for which you will have to raise the invoice. So those invoices could be automated. So you create a quote and send it to him. Once he has accepted it, automatically an invoice could be sent. So in the e-invoicing module, how you generate it or handle it is, you go to preferences, and you go to estimates as an option. You can see here that automatically convert an accepted estimate to invoice. So this is an option. So by default, if you're giving it no, then yes, of course, it is, you are canceling the automation. But there is a second step that yes, create invoice as draft. So once you raise a quotation and the customer has accepted it, the invoice will get created as a draft. So like how we created it as a draft and push to IRP, you will have to manually do the pushing option from Zoho Books. This is the second part. Third part, you have yes, create, push, and send, which means once the customer has accepted the estimate, the invoice gets created, it gets automatically pushed to the IRP, and you will be in a position to even automate the charging process also. You can collect the payment from the customer directly using this particular option. So these are the different levels of automation that you have with regards to e-invoicing. So just to give you a recap of whatever we have seen, just saw how to enable e-invoicing in Zoho Books, how to create or cancel e-invoices, what are all the different default filters that we had, and different icons and its colors, giving you the insights about the status of every invoice that is being created in Zoho Books. We also saw how to restrict the user from creating or canceling the invoice with regards to automating the process of invoicing as a whole. So I'm open to questions right now, and I think Chitra can take the Q&A for you. Thank you so much.
Chitra, are you there?
Yeah, Mr. Bimal. So participants, if you have any questions, you can make use of the Q&A tab and post them, and we'll be glad to take them up. Any questions related to e-invoicing or how to push the invoices to the IRP from Zoho Books, please feel free to post them up. And we have our expert, Mr. Bimal Jain, and we also from Zoho Books team will be there to take it up.
I can see one question, Chitra, which is written in tab. He's asking, Susil Agarwal is asking, sir, if we export service at Singapore, is it compulsory to generate e-invoice? Susilji, yes, need to be. Okay. Someone, Mr. Narsimhan is saying we are the supplier of goods to SEZ unit and we require to issue invoice. Yes, supply to SEZ. Yes, you need to generate e-invoice. But supply by SEZ unit, excluded. Someone is saying financial year 22-23 aggregate turnover 4.67 crore and non-reported advances goods 1 crore. Will e-invoice be applicable or not? See, for aggregate turnover, important is that should be falling within the definition of aggregate turnover. Advances are being considered as a, not towards the turnover. Of course, goods, I have already clarified that advance against supply of goods, no GST leviable from 15th November 2017 to my mind, then e-invoicing provision is not going to be applicable. I'm just seeing the question answers tab and just trying to see what are the questions there and trying to answer to each one of you. There's someone asking, Chitra, I don't know if Ramesh is available, he can answer it. Issued invoice in the US dollar in Zoho. So while pushing to IRP, it will get automatically converted into INR. I'm not sure what is his question, but that is what I could see he has written in that tab of question answers. Yes, B2G, yes, applicable. And there is nothing like specific date. If it is B2B taxable supply, initially there was a doubt. For that reason, we were debating whether B2G applicable or not. Otherwise, B2G taxable supply invoicing provisions are applicable. Now, if entity already has basic software, will Zoho software be compatible with the existing software? Mr. Ramesh, if you can answer this one. There's someone, Mr. Manmohan Singh Thakur, is asking this question. Chitra, Ramesh is there?
Yeah, he's there.
Ramesh, can you take this question? I'm just reading from the second
Yes.
last. Second last.
Actually, what happened is we were not able to see the question and answer tab right now. I think we have just enabled it for Chitra. I think she can take the control over. So we were not able to view the question and answers. So we
Not an
were
issue. Not an
figuring
issue.
it out. Yeah. Chitra, you can take things forward, please.
Yeah, 1 minute. I'm just checking out the question.
His
The
second
question
last.
is, if the entity already has a basic software, will Zoho software be compatible with the existing software? So in case you're creating invoices in the accounting software which you're already using, and if you want to use Zoho for e-invoicing purpose alone, so you can choose to import your invoices to Zoho Books. We have given sample templates under each and every module, like the invoices module, a sample Excel file is provided. You can use that Excel file to import your invoices, and you can bulk push it to the IRP. So if you want to use it specifically for e-invoicing alone, then we have a separate solution for e-invoicing. So you can use it, just import your invoices, and you can push it to the IRP portal from here. You can do that.
Saurabh, I
Yeah.
can see one, question in a tab, question answers tab, that you were asking that above in reference to export invoice. Basically, want to ask for export, we can issue in USD or not. See, for export invoice, to satisfy the condition export of services as per section 2 subsection 6 of IGST Act, it has to be in convertible foreign exchange, and that's what you have to. And then you have to ensure that your invoice is generated into US dollar, may be converted into INR for all other purposes, but there has to be the separate field for US dollar so that you can substantiate that it is in convertible foreign exchange.
So I believe as of now, we have taken up the question till the last. In case of any further questions, please do post them and we are here to answer it.
Hi, Chitra. We have one question by Saurav. Issued invoice in USD in Zoho. So while pushing to IRP, it will get automatically converted to INR.
Yeah, so the system will take care. If you have issued the invoice to an overseas client, you'll be able to push it as such to the IRP portal. The system will take care of the rest.
I think we are through, Chitra.
And one question we have, like, suppose if I enter a different supplier name, but with proper GSTIN in the JSON over IRP portal, whether will that allow to generate e-invoice? Bimalji, can you take this up?
Suppose if I enter a different supplier name, but with the proper GST in the JSON offline tool over IRP portal, there may be mismatch. While doing the deduplication check and validation of data, it may be possible, it may be rejected. So you have to really pick up all those specified particulars like GSTN with specific supplier name. That is unique feature, and that is how the cross verification and validation is done by IRP. To my mind, pushing the data for to IRP will get rejected. Now, I've taken this last question. Let me take 1 minute more and then conclude to my all the participants today. First of all, I'm thanking each one of you that you have taken out your time and joining today to learn hand-holding. And I always believe sabka saath, sabka vikas. And we are trying our best from Zoho Books and Bimal Jain being together. We are trying our best to provide hand-holding for GST, and we are trying to make GST good and simple tax. And this was the initiative towards the evolution of e-invoicing. I've told you that this e-invoicing provision now going to be made applicable for all registered person having aggregate turnover exceeding 1.5 crore. So it is widely going to be applicable. So it's a high time we should get prepared. Lot many things, technical question I've answered during my presentation, and this video would be available later on the YouTube channel of both Zoho Books and Bimal Jain. So you can always tune and check everything concerned. And this today's video will also have the process which is being presented by Mr. Ramesh. that how Zoho Books can provide the features of generation of e-invoicing with so many other facilities which is available. So we are trying our best, but let me compliment each one of you. Being a working day, you're taking out time and joining this webinar. I'm sure you have enjoyed today's webinar as well, in same way that you continue to enjoy with Bimal Jain and Zoho Books. So thanking once again and handing over to her to finally conclude today's webinar.
Thank you so much, Vimalji, for your kind words again. And folks, this is not the end, as every month on month we would be having and inviting Bimalji, and we'll get to know through his enriching knowledge of whatever GST, taxes, and everything that CA has to offer. And yeah, I'm looking forward to all such events. And I would also like to thank Ramesh and Chitra for taking out time and guiding us with the complete plethora of options that Zoho Books is delivering. We hope to have a very, very good relationship in future with all of you. Thank you so much for joining, and it will be available in 3 to 5 days. Thanks again, Vivji. See you soon next month.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bimal. Thank you, Harsh. Thank you, Chitra. Thank you all for your patience and joining us
Thank
for
you.
us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramesh, Chitra, and Hers, and to all the participants. Take care.
Yeah.
God bless all
Thank you
of
so
us.
much, everyone.